Some of the main benefits when you think about other tools, for example, we touched on this earlier, but for example, real quick, like if you're lifting with a barbell, you can do a lot of stuff with a barbell, but if you're lifting with a barbell, because you can incrementally load it, because you can load up the weight so much, you've got plates, you can stack it up. It's, for me, one of the best, if not the best tool for developing absolute levels of strength. So high levels of max strength. What can you lift for one rep?
Yeah.
The movements tend to be simpler. You're oftentimes, unless you're a skilled mover, you're not going to be doing lateral movements or as many with a barbell. Not going to be doing very many at all rotational movements with a barbell. You have to get really creative, and there's a high level of skill there. That being said, if you were to progress that and take like a dumbbell, now you're using like unilateral training. And so you're basically able to highlight some of the compensations or imbalances between left and right. Oftentimes there's more of a balance component involved. You're going to be working higher levels of athleticism, the ability to train in multiple planes. You're going to have more options to you. So if we just take that progression of barbell to dumbbell now to kettlebell, to keep it simple, a kettlebell, you can do what you can do with a dumbbell, but now per se on steroids, because you can train very easily and effectively every single plane of movement. You can train every single pattern. And what you think about with the kettlebell, because it has that offset center of mass from the handle, that in and of itself is a very unique feature. So the way I always describe it is when you're lifting with a kettlebell, it's not like a dumbbell, where a dumbbell is basically like a fixed part of your hand. When you've got when the weight is basically distributed 6-8 inches away from that handle, now you're dealing with a live object. And when you're dealing with a live object, your body has to learn how to adapt and adjust and create strategies in order to lift the load safely and effectively and transfer the force. And so overall, what I really believe is not only can you develop high levels of strength, but you can also develop high levels of nervous system skill and coordination and balance that are very hard to achieve with some of the other tools. But also, too, when you look at the benefits of the kettlebell, you can do things that you just simply can't do with other tools or nearly as effectively. So as an example, you can't swing a barbell. You can't. Like it would just run into your thighs. It wouldn't work. With a dumbbell, when I see people doing swings with dumbbells, for me, it's not even remotely in the same ballpark. Yes, it could look like a kettlebell swing if you try to do it with a dumbbell, but because you're gripping so tight and the center of mass is higher on a dumbbell, you won't really nearly be able to express what I shared earlier about that tension and relaxation, which is a huge athletic ability or skill to develop that you need in all sports. If you're full on, full yang, full engaged the whole time, and you don't know how to oscillate between that yin, that receptive, that flexibility, that softness component, you're going to gas out in a second. There's no way you'll be able to reproduce that level of force. And so what you learn with the kettlebell is the ability to develop these higher level of skills. Every single biomotor ability, from strength, flexibility, power, endurance, agility, coordination, you can do that with a kettlebell, and you can allow yourself to get in positions like a swing or a snatch that are not nearly as optimal or just simply impossible to do with some of the other tools. And what I would say is, so now with kettlebells, the interesting thing is you can